Who remembers something from our class earlier? One thing. You were so fast.
Indra was arrogant, so that's why his ignorance got created away by Krishna.
Thank you. Cool. Anyone else? Yes.
We shouldn't be proud of any of our gifts because the Lord can take them away anytime.
And they're only gifts. They're given to us. Do you have any gifts?
Not the kind of second gift.
Say again.
I think the soccer is better than my mates.
Oh, wow. It's a gift. Do you become proud of that?
I do become them for that.
Sometimes? And what do you do when you find that you're proud of something?
I normally keep quiet after.
One thing is if you remember that it's a gift of Krishna, that he's very kind, and you want to use it in his service. And you can be proud of that Krishna's given you so much mercy in your life. So, Indra did something horrible. I mean, if you think about it, he tried to it's almost inconceivable, and this will get discussed. He tried to destroy all of Braja because one sacrifice was stopped. And he wanted to kill all the residents of Vrindavan. And he wanted to kill cows. So it's quite amazing that he acted in that way because of his pride, because of his anger. And then when he saw Krishna lift Govardhan Hill, and he understood that Krishna was his Lord, and he had tried to kill his Lord. And he was a devotee, after all. It wasn't that he was a demon or anything, but he was a devotee that became bewildered. And when he did that, he realized his mistake. Terrible mistake, disastrous mistake. How do you think he felt? You can raise your hand. I mean, there's 100 words that you could probably... I don't want to say put yourself in that position where you tried to kill everyone who you love and who served you and took care of you, because we don't want to think like that. But just imagine how he felt. What word would you use to describe how you think he would feel? Humiliated. What other words? Embarrassed. Yes. What other words? Ashamed. Yes. Huh?
I want you to say embarrassed.
Yeah, well, you said it. Embarrassed, and you'd feel so humiliated. And would you want to step in front of many people and say, I am Indra, or something like that? No, you just, very difficult situation Indra was in. But no one caused this difficulty except himself. Because usually, when we get in a difficult situation, we find someone else to blame. That's one of the first reactions. Prabhupada once told how all the prisoners, and when they're in prison, you ask them, why are you in prison? And they'll say, the judge sent me here. Instead of, I committed a crime. And as long as we think the judge sent us, there's not very much hope for us to improve. But if we realize that I did something improper. So anyway, what I'm going to do is read these verses, and I'll summarize a little of them. And some of them from 4 to 13. How many verses is it from number 4 to number 13? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Looks like 10 to me. Should have asked ChatGPT. Who got the right answer? So Indra decided, not on his own, but we'll speak about this. He decided to come to Krishna and beg his forgiveness and apologize for what he had done. So the first of the verses, of the 14 verses, after Krishna had lifted Govardhan Hill, this is chapter 27, and thus protected the inhabitants of Braja from the terrible rainfall, Surabhi, the mother of the cows, came from her planet to see Krishna. She was accompanied by Indra. Yeah. Why don't we go to, this is the first verse. No, that isn't the first verse that we'll talk about. That's 6. Okay. So the verse is, Govardhana drite saile asara drakshite braje Gokulad avrajat Krishnam Surabhi Sakra evacha. Sakra is Indra. Sakra means he who performed 100 sacrifices. This is described in the 4th canto where Prithu Maharaj was trying to also perform 100 sacrifices. And who tried to stop him? Who was afraid of the competition? Indra, and he did also so many bad things, but nothing as bad as this. So he came with Surabhi, or actually the way it is said is Surabhi came, Chakra Evacha. Surabhi, the transcendental cow, not transcendental cow, actually from the heavenly planets, Gokulad Avrajat Krishna, came to see Krishna. Surabhi came, and also Indra came. So there's a minimization of Indra's position. And Surabhi came first. Because when Indra understood the terrible thing that he had done, he understood the weight of it. He went to his superior Brahma and told him everything. And Brahma thought, I also couldn't understand who Krishna was. I also made a mistake. A great mistake. The cowherd boys and Krishna were together and they were enjoying their pastimes. And I separated the cowherd boys. It's interesting, in that pastime, Krishna, as we know, he created so many duplicate boys and cows because Brahma had stolen away the boys and the cows. And Balaram, when he understood that Krishna had expanded himself into boys and calves, and that those boys and calves for 1 year were actually Krishna and his expansions, he actually felt separation from the actual boys and the actual calves. This is also astounding how personal Krishna consciousness is. Even in the presence of Krishna, the boys and the calves, Balaram felt separation from the actual boys and calves. And he had separated them from Krishna. And this was he felt it was terribly offensive to test Krishna's powers in this way, to see how Krishna would deal with this exposition of Brahma's powers. And when Brahma came before Krishna to see what the result of his playful testing Krishna was, he saw that all the cows and the boys were all expansions of Krishna. They turned right before his eyes into four-armed Vishnu forms, Coven, Tulsi, and being worshipped by everyone in the universe. And Brahma himself was so powerful, creating such an intricate universe, empowered by Krishna to do that. But when he saw these Vishnu forms, and unlimited of them coming in and out of Krishna, and each one of them, now listen to this, you ready? Each one of these unlimited forms had unlimited power. And each one of those forms that had unlimited forms that had unlimited power were coming out of this little 8-year-old cowherd boy who was standing there with a flute and his tucked here and with a peacock feather on his head, looking so innocent. And they all had unlimited power, and they were unlimiteds. Now, when we try to think of what unlimited is, our mind, finite mind, small minds, becomes confused. But unlimiteds, each having unlimited power. So Brahma, on seeing this, practically speaking, he fainted, practically speaking. It was too much for him. And then finally, in his prayers, he said to Krishna, others may say they know something about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but I never will say such a thing. Let them say what they want, but I won't say that. So when he got back to his place, and after he offered his prayers, Krishna didn't even respond to them. And then he just felt uncomfortable because he was in Braj, and he had no qualification to be in Braj. So he left and went to his place, Brahmaloka. So after Indra had committed his terrible mistake, which was unlimitedly times worse than what Brahma did, Indra went to Brahma and explained to him what happened. And Brahma said, yes, I also have done something, underestimated who Krishna was. This also happened to me. What should I do about it? Said Indra, you should apologize to him. But I'm afraid. Look what I did. I'm afraid. He's unlimitedly powerful, and I'm unlimitedly done something terrible to the unlimitedly powerful, and that's very frightening. Who knows what he's going to do? And he said, Krishna is very kind. But what you should do is you should take Surabhi with you. And keep Surabhi in front. And when Krishna sees Surabhi, this Swagaloka, wonderful cow, because he loves cows so much, when he sees the cow, his heart will melt, and then you can come out and it's a little Rajniti, but it was proper. So Brahma and Indra went to Swagaloka where this heavenly cow was and explained to her the situation, and they decided that Indra and Surabhi would go, and Surabhi would go first. And Brahma said, no, sorry, I'm not going to go on this one because I'm afraid to go into Braj again. So Indra and Surabhi, and this is what's stated in this first verse, they came. And in the Mahabharata, there's a description of what it was like. Indra saw Krishna when he came, who takes away all suffering, just seeing him. Maybe the little children could cry quietly. Well, that's not practical, is it? How about if they cry, oh Krishna, oh Krishna? Or they cry softly. All these impractical ideas. Little children, hey, in the back, you have to be a little more quiet, okay? A little more even. So, Indra saw Krishna. Now there's a place where the residents of Govardhan say that Krishna was sitting when Indra came to apologize. It's right next to Govindakund. Raise your hand if you've been to Govindakund. Yeah. You've never been to Govindakund? You? What? Should take him. He has been. But he was little. That's the spirit. Take me again. So there's a place, and it's a very sweet place right next to Govindakund. There's a tree right by the hill, and Krishna is said to have been sitting right there. And he came alone, humbly, without Airavat, his carrier, without Surabhi. He wanted to go first, even before Surabhi got there. So he came down, and he saw Krishna seated at the base of Govardhan. And he saw him as indestructible. What does indestructible mean? He cannot be destroyed. Powerful, eternal, and so effulgent. And he was wearing cowherd boy clothing. And immediately Indra felt love for him. And he just looked at Krishna like a dark, water-laden cloud, a cloud, monsoon cloud filled with water. And he had Srivats upon his chest. And Parasamuni explains that in the sky, he saw Garuda invisibly in the sky, shading Krishna from the sun with his two wings. Indra was very ashamed. Did anyone use the word ashamed when we're describing? Yeah. He was very ashamed of having offended the Lord. After all, he tried to kill him and everyone he loved, including the cows. So he approached him in a solitary place. And Indra immediately, he fell down and he put his helmet on Krishna's lotus feet. He put his head basically to Krishna's lotus feet. And his helmet became effulgent by touching Krishna's lotus feet. So Indra had come along. That was the second verse. And why was Krishna alone? So our acharyas, and here I've put together some of the comments of the acharyas, but I haven't noted whether it was Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Jiva Goswami, or Srila Sanatana Goswami, but somehow they got a little mixed up. But our great acharyas are making these comments. That Krishna previously had sent the cowherd boys away, and he said, oh, I want to go alone around the hill just to examine if there's been any damage done to Giriraj. You go that way, I'll be back, I'm just going around the hill. Actually, he wanted to save Indra the embarrassment of having to apologize in front of others. And also, he had a fear. And that fear was he was afraid that the cowherd boys, seeing Indra, would make fun of him or even curse him due to their anger at what he had done. So what's the implication there? The cowherd boys were even more powerful than Indra. So there Krishna was, alone, making it easier for Indra. Does anyone know that spot where that tree is, just on the side of Govindakund? Where it is? You know that spot? Does anyone know that spot? You don't know that spot? Let's all go there right now then. But you've all been to Govindakund, or many of you, so it's easy to think about that beautiful place, so close to Giriraj. So the third verse says that Indra had now heard, not only had heard from Brahma, but he had seen the transcendental power of omnipotent Krishna. His power is unlimited and it's everywhere. And thus, his false pride about being the Lord, himself being the Lord of the three worlds, it was smashed, it was defeated, it was broken. And he folded his hands together in supplication, and he began speaking to the Lord. So 4 through 13 are the prayers of Indra. So he had seen, because he had used all his power to send the lightning and the thunder and the rains that were as thick as pillars, this thick. The rain was coming down and the hail. He used all his power and the lightning and the thunder. And Krishna just had lifted the hill and protected everyone. Actually, through the vision of Chakravarti Thakur, and he comments on when Krishna had said to the cowherd men and the cowherd ladies, everyone come under the hill. So the question could be raised, how could 900,000 cows and all the wagons and all the possessions and all the cowherd men and their priests and the cowherd ladies and their families, how could they fit under the hill? And Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says that Giriraj is so wonderful that not only all of Braj could fit under the hill, all the three worlds, including all of us, can find and take shelter of Giriraj. So Indra had become proud of his position and his power because he was powerful and he had a great position. And now that pride had been taken away upon seeing Krishna's power, which was when you hold something with the left hand is the weaker of hands, and the weakest of the fingers on the left hand, the little one. And Krishna was just effortlessly holding the hill. And Indra had been trying to smash everything. So that means it wasn't difficult at all for Krishna to protect. So Indra then offered this prayer, and there's a reason why he offered this prayer, our acharyas say. He was afraid that Krishna, as soon as he appeared, as soon as he got up from his obeisances, he would say the following to Indra. Oh, Indra, I was so foolish to stop your worship, to stop the sacrifice meant for you. And just using an excuse to worship Govardhan, I wanted to enjoy all the offerings meant for you. He was afraid, Indra was afraid that Krishna would speak to him in that sarcastic way. So Indra said to Krishna, your transcendental form is a manifestation of Suddha Sattva, pure transcendental goodness. It is undisturbed by change. It is shining with knowledge. He's looking at Krishna's effulgent form with eyes that have been opened about who Krishna was. And it is devoid of passion and ignorance. So you couldn't have stopped my sacrifice because you were greedy for the results or envious of me being worshipped, because that would mean that you were being controlled by the modes of material nature, passion and ignorance, from which envy and anger come, and greed to eat the offerings. But no, your transcendental form, which is so effulgent, is beyond all of the modes of material nature. In you, it does not exist the mighty flow of the modes of material nature, which is based on illusion, which is based on ignorance. You are beyond the modes. Nothing of the modes of the material world affect you. And I thought that you were being affected by greed and envy of me, and therefore I became angry. So when Indra also says that there is no change in your form, it's a reference to Sankhya philosophy, which says that the Lord, that the Absolute cannot do anything in relationship. The Purusha cannot do anything in relationship to Prakriti. The Purusha does not affect Prakriti, because if he affected Prakriti, he would change. That means he would change, because he's the Absolute Truth, and the Absolute Truth contains everything, and therefore, if you already have everything, you can't change, because you're already everything, and you'll be changing into something that you're not, and the Absolute Truth, which contains everything, cannot change into anything that it's not, because it is already everything. Clear? Clear as mud. So that's the basic. So they always say that and they have to explain the creation. So it's very tricky how they explain that the Purusha, that Prakriti acts on its own. The material energy acts on, basically like a material scientist, Sankhya philosophy. So he says, so our philosophy is Beda Bed, Achintya Beda Bed, that Krishna, his energies, his Shakti, Parinam, Krishna's energies change, but Krishna himself never changes. So, another comment of the Acharyas on this is that on the point that Krishna is beyond the modes of material nature, and they make an important point that if we remember Krishna, if we keep Krishna's form in our mind, Sarvan Mansati Ritschayam, if we keep Krishna's form in our mind, then we, just by keeping Krishna's form in our minds, will be unaffected by the modes of nature. What to speak of the person who were remembering Krishna himself? He's clearly beyond the modes of material nature and clearly unaffected by the modes of material nature. And then Indra looked at Krishna's smiling face and saw there was no anger or enmity towards him. That Krishna was just simple and happy. And therefore, he felt great relief and he began to praise Krishna. One of the points that he makes is that, and this is a point that Jiva Goswami makes continuously in Krishna Sandarbha. Not only is Krishna has nothing to do with the modes of material nature, nothing to do, but his abode, the place where he dwells, the paraphernalia and his pastimes, nothing has to do with the modes of material nature. And his service, serving him, is also beyond the modes of material nature, which, oh yes, this is a little philosophical class, isn't it, so far? And that's what the Mayavadis do not accept. They don't accept that Krishna is transcendental. Did you know that? That's what Mayavad philosophy is. That's why they're called by us Mayavadis, a name that they don't like very much. Because they say that Krishna, they say Brahman, the formless, when it takes the mode of goodness, accepts the mode of goodness, it becomes Ishvara. The avatars are called Ishvara. That means that they're Brahman in goodness, and when Brahman comes in ignorance and passion, he becomes the jiva. I even read one time a Mayavadi interpretation by a old Indian politician who said that Lord Ramachandra did this and he did that, which proves that even when the Lord comes, he's controlled by the mode of passion. So this is called Mayavad philosophy, to say that Krishna's form is composed of the material mode of goodness. Well, it's transcendental. There's no modes that touch the Lord's form or his pastimes or even his transcendental devotees. And the whole spiritual world, no modes of material nature, all composed of Krishna's internal energy. So Indra was saying that Krishna was controlled. He was thinking Krishna stopped the sacrifice because of him being controlled by the modes, but actually who was the one controlled by the modes? It was Indra himself. And therefore, because of my lack of knowledge of you, I committed great sinful offenses. He was saying this. He was acknowledging his fault and what he had done. Then he says, how could there exist in you, this is verse 5, the symptoms of an ignorant person, such as greed, lust, anger, and envy, which are all produced by one's previous involvement in material existence? They're the product of the karma that one carries. All the intricate aspects of our personality, or even how we look, where we're born, what we can do, what we can't do, where we are born, what we look like, what form we have, whether we're tall or short, whether we can sing or whether we can't, whether we can recite Sanskrit verses or we can't, or whether we can whatever, whether we are expert at fixing things. All this is the modes of material nature, which are based on what we did in our previous lives, whether we have hair or no hair also. And so, Hari Gopal, you and I are both hairless Krishnas. So it's so interesting, I find, even if you know a little bit of astrology, you see that all the qualities you have, or I saw that all the qualities I have that I think, oh, that's so wonderful and better than this, rah, 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 rah. This is just karma. So if all the ways I act in are karma, and the way I think is my karma, then where am I in all of that? And then that question that separates human beings from animals can be asked, well, who am I actually? If I'm not all this karma, then who am I? And where am I in the middle of all this? Where's the person who is me? All the thinking, all the this is not me. So Indra was coming to realize how conditioned he was. Conditioned means controlled by the modes of material nature. And he, in that ignorance, without knowledge, was thinking Krishna was controlled, but actually it was him who was controlled. So then the question comes, why, like I come to this world, it's not like I chose to be born in Brooklyn, New York, I was. And then it's not like I chose that, but I was forced, pushed by my karma, by the super soul, to take birth in a particular place, in a particular family. But if Krishna is beyond karma and beyond the modes of material nature, why does he come to this world? Why does he even come? So Brahma says that the lust and anger and greed and envy, which are produced from one's previous activities in material existence. They cause one to become further entangled in material existence. So we act according to the karma that we have, the modes that control us, and that entangles us still further. So it's quite a trap being in the material world, because we're controlled by modes of material nature. And how do we get out of being controlled by the modes of material nature that control us all the time? So the answer is by devotional service or karma yoga. Use whoever you are according to your fate. Use that in the service of the transcendental Lord. And thereby that karma becomes a karma. There is no reaction to that. That work brings no reaction, while every other work is going to entangle one even further in the modes of material nature. Any other action, we have to act. So it's quite a puzzle to get out of the material world. And the impersonalists, seeing this puzzle, what do? What do they try to do? They just try to meditate and just consider, study Vedanta, and consider all the time, who am I in the midst of this? They make the mind more quiet, and they sit in a lonely place if done properly, and they just try to examine their own consciousness with their own consciousness, which is very tricky. So they're examining their own consciousness with their consciousness, saying, these thoughts are not me. They're not me. And the body isn't me. And on and on. And the purpose of all that is so that they don't act. Because every action in the material world is going to entangle them further in material life. So their whole idea is not to interact with the material existence. Now, how long can you keep that up? It's a very difficult position for an impersonalist. Even if one's not a Mayavadi, still it's so difficult. This is described by Krishna, which chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, how difficult it is. 7? 7 plus how many? We'll get you the right answer. Klesho dikataraste sama vyakta vyakta chetasam. What chapter is that? 12th chapter, where Krishna says how difficult this impersonal path is. So why does Krishna come? So Indra says, and yet as the Supreme Lord, who's not under the control of the modes of material nature, you impose punishment on others. You come to punish others like me, to protect religious principles and curb down the wicked. Which verse of the Bhagavad Gita? Yada yada hi dharmasya glaniya bhavati bharata. So, and it's so interesting. If one is under the control of the modes of material nature, like greed and anger and envy and lust and all those kind of things, these things are created by Krishna. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Daivayesha gunamayi mama maya. Very difficult, because these modes of nature are empowered by Krishna to trap us. So Indra, in describing this, he's saying that the problem I have, that I attacked you, is actually because I'm controlled by the modes of material nature. And that you're the controller of the modes of material nature, so it's, in one sense, it's your fault. Or rather, you're the only one who can get me out of this. And Kaliya says the same thing. Does anyone know that verse? Do you know it? Vayam satatra Bhagavan, please say.
I don't remember the verse, but I know the verse
now. Yeah, Vayam satatra Bhagavan, because Sarpa Jati, I'm born in a serpent family, iti manyava, and therefore I am angry by nature. But these modes of material nature, Sarpa Jati manyava katam tyajasam, how can I get free from this? Samoham, from this illusion, other than by your mercy. Distijam mohinam sritam. that unless you free me, I'm stuck. I'm caught by these modes of material nature. So what quality will allow one to think in that way? It means you're confronted with the power of Krishna, not only the power of Krishna, but the power of Krishna's external energy, not only him, or this is just one of his energies. And then me, who thinks myself so wonderful and so powerful, just is trapped like this. So when one realizes one's position, what does one feel? Everyone's so shy today. Humble. What's the difference between humble and miserable and helpless? Yeah.
Humble has gratitude.
Yeah. When one feels, oh, I'm useless, I can't do anything, I'm controlled, that's not humility. But when one takes shelter of Krishna, you're so kind, Krishna. Please, if you don't serve, unravel these modes, what hope do I have? I am yours, I'm your servant. So when one takes shelter of Krishna, sincerely, that is what humility is. So he's saying that you punish persons such as ourselves because you have descended. This is why you come, to benefit the world, because you're the Supreme Lord. You're not forced to come like I am forced to come. Raise your hand if you chose to be born in the family that you were born in. Okay, now you can all be shy and not raise your hand. Did you choose to be born in, were you born in Melbourne or in India?
Melbourne.
Yeah. So did you think, I think, where am I going to take my next birth? Should it be in Sydney or Melbourne, or I like pizza, maybe I should take my birth in Italy. It doesn't work like that. We're just forced. But Krishna is not forced. He is the source of the force. Hey, that's a Krishna, the source of the force. We got ourselves a good t-shirt there. So he continues. This is the 6th verse. Oh, this is an interesting point that one of our acharyas say. Greed does not exist in either you or your servants. It exists in persons who are not your servants. You punish persons such as ourselves because you descend to benefit the world. You are directly the Supreme Lord. So there's actually, our acharyas mentioned that that devotees have a kind of greed and non-devotees have a different kind of greed. And the greed of the non-devotees to try to enhance their happiness by gathering more and more matter, material things, surrounding themselves, immersing themselves in more and more material enjoyment. Their greed, forced by the modes of material nature, causes misery. But the greed, tatraloyam apimula mekalam, the greed of the devotees to be with Krishna causes them the greatest happiness. So that kind of greed we should develop, to be with Krishna, to serve Krishna. And that greed is called, it's transcendental, it's eagerness, it's a gift. So that is the desire of a devotee, that if only, when will I become sincerely eager to be with Krishna, to serve Krishna? When will I have that kind of greed? When will Krishna bless me with that sincere desire, overwhelming desire, just as a material person has an overwhelming desire forced by the modes of material nature to do this in the material world or to do that, forced to do, what is that called, bungee jumping? I mean, that has to be forced by the modes of material nature. It's so ridiculous. Okay, admit it. How many of you have done bungee jumping? You did? Okay, there we go. Was it ecstatic? It was scary. So trying to get pleasure out of fear and being saved, basically. The cowherd boys did that too when they entered Agasura. Do you know that? It's actually so interesting. It was described in the 12th chapter of the 10th canto. They walked into they understood that the tongue, the road was not a road, it was a tongue of a great serpent who had opened his mouth just to swallow them. So they wanted to experience what it would be like to be saved by Krishna. They wanted to experience that. Now Krishna was standing to the side. He saw them walking in, and he loved them. He was their friend. They were his friends. So could he possibly want them to walk into the mouth of the serpent like that? What do you think? No. Krishna didn't want them to walk in, and the cowherd boys wanted to walk in. And Krishna couldn't stop them. He's the Supreme Lord. But he saw that Yogamaya, the internal energy, took the side of the cowherd boys over him to create this pastime where they would be saved by Krishna. Because when someone saves you from a dangerous situation, you feel so much gratitude and affection and love for them. They wanted to have that feeling for Krishna. So they walked right into the mouth. They were dancing, they were playing, they were singing, clapping. And Krishna didn't want them to go in. And he saw that the internal energy took the side of the cowherd boys over him. So that leads us to understand who is the ruler of Braj. It's not even Krishna. And it's not the internal energy of the Lord, the pastime creating energy. It's the love of the devotees that causes the prema of the devotees, causes the pastimes to take place. They want to be with Krishna and enjoy with Krishna. Braj is such a special place. It's all about rasa, about the sweetness of relationship. So in the 6th verse, so the greed of the devotees to be with Krishna, this is the price, it is said, tatraloyam abhimula mekalam. This is the price to get to the spiritual world. One has to really, sincerely, fully want it. And so when we go to the devotees, we see all the devotees, please give me your blessings, and please give me your blessings. As if the devotees are like blessing ATMs or something like that. And they'll go, yes, you ask superficially for blessings, so you get superficial blessings. Do you really want to be with Krishna? If we should cultivate that desire so it burns more brightly and brightly. It's based on service. Again, we don't go to Krishna so we can take our cell phones and say, guess who's here with Krishna? And put it on our Instagram account or whatever. And there the center is me. But everyone in Braj, everyone in Vrindavan, everyone in Vaikuntha, they agree on this one point, that it is Krishna who is to be pleased. He is the center. And whatever pleases him is my desire. And whoever pleases Krishna is the object of my service. So the greed of non-devotees brings misery, and the greed of devotees brings happiness. At one time, very interestingly, one of Srila Prabhupada's prominent devotees wrote a very beautiful poem. I've mentioned this before. And sent it to Prabhupada. And in each stanza, every 4 lines, the ending line was, please allow me to be your devotee. But it all was beautiful and rhymed. And then Prabhupada replied, very nice poem. But one thing should be changed. Instead of saying, please allow me to be your devotee, you should write, please allow me to be your servant. Krishna consciousness is all about seva, about developing a serving mood. This is actually the realm of Sri Advaitacharya. It's the realm of service. Advaitacharya was being worshipped by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with respect as the master, and he didn't want that. He just wanted to be a servant. So Indra continues. This is the next verse, actually. This one we have. You are the father and spiritual master of the entire universe. He's seeing Krishna, who's standing there, or sitting there, or standing, it doesn't say, by Govardhan Hill in Braja, not with the eyes of a Brijbasi, but with the eyes of a Devata, because he's a Devata. We don't see with our eyes exactly, we see with our consciousness. He has the consciousness of a Devata who's realized he's made a mistake. But he's seeing with the consciousness, with the eyes of a Devata. So he says, you are the father and spiritual master of the entire universe, and also its supreme controller. You are insurmountable time. Indeed, in your various incarnations, selected by your own free will, not by karma, you act decisively, clearly, to remove the false pride who presume themselves, who think of themselves as masters of this world. One important point that may have been missed in that, he says, in that you are insurmountable time. Do you see that? That means you cannot, it will always win. You cannot control or defeat time. And this time will impose punishment upon the sinful for their own benefit. And you come as incarnations in your purpose, and you've come by your own free will to act clearly and decisively to remove the false pride who think of themselves, who presume themselves. You have to go to the next, who presume themselves masters of this world. What do you think about that when you think about the world today? There's so many people vying, fighting to be masters of this world, but they will all lose. No one can be master of this world except for he who is the master of this world. And what will destroy all their plans? If you read the Bhumi Gita in the 12th canto of the Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter, it describes Bhumi as laughing at all the kings of this world who always are trying to control, fight with each other to gain power and position. Fighting, one wins, then that one gets beat by this one and this one. This is Krishna in the form of time. No one wins in this material world. Time crushes everyone and removes the illusion that they are masters in this world. And if we have even a trace of that tendency to be master, of course you can control something in the mood of servant of Krishna, but if we control to be the master, an enjoyer, we will be that part. Krishna will out of his, just like he did with Indra, he'll give a slap to remove this tendency, because, as it will say later, the acharyas will say that one cannot do benefit to the world, or even oneself really, with pride. If one is proud, one should always remain a servant. so easy to speak to others about this need. So our acharyas, there's something I'll read here. You protect dharma when you come religiosity, and you punish evil. But both of these come from you. You are the creator of both. So why do you come? You come to bring auspiciousness to the world. You are capable of bestowing happiness and suffering upon people. To evil people, you are insurmountable time, which nevertheless purifies through punishment. Time punishes. Time, the acharyas say, forces one into the cycle of birth and death. But yet it offers benefits. When one understands this, time offers the benefit of awarding detachment from the material world. And then they say something very strong. Even fathers and others may cheat, but time does not. Time is you, and therefore difficult to surpass. As a father punishes to benefit his child, a guru chastises to correct his disciple, a master chastises to train his servant, and Yamaraj punishes to purify a jiva. And even the experience of suffering in hell cleanses a jiva of sin. In fact, the acharyas say this is not a very pleasant thought. The entire material world is a realm of punishment. But another way to look at it, it is a realm of opportunity to perform bhakti, to go from sadhana to siddha. That is the purpose of the material world. And Indra continued, to benefit others, you perform pastimes through your avatar forms. Thus you kill demons such as Putana and protect the righteous. You also come and remove the pride of your devotees, such as Brahma. When the devotees become intoxicated with the small amount of power you have given them. So Indra is saying, Krishna, you have acted for my benefit and the benefit of the world. You are my father and you're my teacher. You destroyed my pride, which was so great. And here, another comment. You remove the pride of all those who think themselves as rulers, such as me. O Lord of the universe, you remove the pride of the proud rulers of the world, as the world gains no benefit when its protectors and rulers are proud. Such a condemnation of current materialistic world and its proud rulers. Verse 7. Even fools like me, Indra says, who proudly think themselves as universal lords, they quickly and directly give up their pride, their conceit, and directly take to the path of spiritually progressive, the path of the spiritually progressive when they see that you are fearless, even in the face of time. Thus you punish the mischievous only to instruct them. Has anyone ever stood on the top of a tall building and then sort of on the roof and sort of looked over? Have you ever done that? Yeah. No, you've done it. Mataji, have you done that? Yes or no? Have you done it? I think everyone's done it. So where do you feel when you do that? Yes.
On top of the world.
I think. How old are you?
I'm 13.
Okay, you can think like that. Anyone over 13, when they stand on top of a tall building and sort of look over the edge, how do you feel?
Something in the stomach.
Something in the stomach. Yes? And I wouldn't say it's fear. I say it's terror. Yes or no? Terror in the stomach. That is the chakra of Krishna. Yeah, this is said in Shastra. This is terror. We're coming in the chakra of Krishna's time. Okay, whose fault was it? Only Jagattarini Prabhu is exempt from. But Krishna, everyone is fearful of time, but Krishna is fearless in front of time. And Indra saw this, because when he was lifting up the hill, he was in such a jolly mood as the lightning and everything was flashing down on him. There's no fear in Krishna. And when someone who is trying to cause fear in another confronts someone who's fearless, how does the person who is trying to do that, how does he feel? I think I didn't ask that in a clear way. Prahlad Maharaj was fearless. Hiranyakashipu was trying to terrify him, and Prahlad remained fearless. And what was Hiranyakashipu's reaction to that? He became fearful, because this person has more power than me. So similarly, Indra is saying that people quickly give up their pride, their conceit, and directly taking to the path of the spirit, moving forward in their spiritual life, when they see that you are fearless when in front of the face of time. Thus you punish the mischievous in this way, just to instruct them. And Indra is saying, look what I have done. I've tried to frighten you and kill the residents of Vrindavan with my rain. But I saw in the hail and the storms, you were fearless. How foolish I am. I don't know what kind of punishment I will get. I have to give up my false identity as a controller, because I saw that you are free from fear, and now I have to give up my false identity. And because you are unafraid, I am now afraid. You break pride and produce benefit for those whose pride has been broken. Although no one likes their pride to be broken, if one will take shelter of Krishna, they are benefited greatly. Pride must necessarily be broken, our Acharya said, for one to become a true devotee. Due to my pride, the next verse, in my ruling power, I became ignorant of your majesty, and I became bewildered. I thus offended you, O Lord. May you forgive me, and let my consciousness never again become so impure. Now, Indra says this, and here I'll just read from one of the Acharyas. What verse is this? 8. Go to the English, please. Please read it.
Engrossed in pride over my ruling power, ignorant of your majesty, I offended you. O Lord, may you forgive me. My intelligence was bewildered, but let my consciousness never again be so pure.
Indra is afraid that Krishna may say, I lifted Govardhan to protect Braja. I did not lift it to punish you. But now I will call Yamaraj and now arrange for your punishment. Fearing these words, Indra in great fear speaks this verse. You are the most famous father and guru because you are most merciful and forgiving. You can forgive the offense of this ignorant person who is immersed in the ocean of my false power and my forgetfulness of your power. You should not purify me by punishing me. Please do not punish me, because I am like an animal. Punishing an animal is not effective. And the moment after the master has beaten the animal again commits the same offense. Instead of punishing me, please be merciful. Please correct my bad tendencies so that my animal tendencies do not rise again. Our acharyas have a further comment. Indra does not make this prayer with a completely pure and simple heart, for he shows his submissiveness in order to save himself from punishment. I'm surrendering to you because I'm fearful of you. Later, however, he again challenges Krishna's position when the Lord takes the parijat tree to Dwarka from Indra's heavenly kingdom. So that's mentioned. There's something in him that's still a bit selfish at this point. I don't want to be punished, therefore I'm surrendering to you. I'm fearful of punishment, therefore I surrender to you. It's not out of understanding that Krishna, I am yours. That's why I surrender to you. This is my position. Ekala Ishwara Krishna, Asabha Britya. I'm your servant. Please allow me to serve you. Please allow me to serve you. Please allow me to serve you. O Lord, the 9th verse. You descend into this world, O transcendental Lord, to destroy, excuse me just for a moment. You descend into this world, O transcendental Lord, to destroy the warlords who burden the earth and create many terrible disturbances. O Lord, you simultaneously act for the welfare of those who faithfully serve your lotus feet. I am foolish, Indra said. These are again the words of the Acharya. You have appeared in this world for our benefit, the benefit of the devotees, the demigods, who all, including me, prayed for you to come. Still, even after knowing this, I have been blind. But now, after having been punished, I've attained better vision, and now I can understand the truth. In order to destroy those leaders of the demons who create a burden for the earth, and in order to produce auspiciousness for those who serve your feet, for this reason you appear. But I am neither a demon nor a great devotee who serves your feet. I'm in neither of these categories. Thus, either destroy me or bestow on me auspiciousness, but you're just standing there, neutral towards me. This is my misfortune. Either punish me or forgive me, but don't remain neutral. The real reason, Indra says, according to our acharyas, that you have appeared in this world is to demonstrate your pastimes, so that the love of your devotees will increase. But I have committed a great offense. How foolish I am. Please forgive this foolish person. And then in 2 verses, he offers obeisances to Krishna. Obeisances unto you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Great Soul. You are all-pervading as Brahman. You reside in the hearts of all as the Paramatma. My obeisances are unto you, Krishna. You are the chief of the Yadu dynasty as Bhagawan. So you are Brahman. You are the Paramatma. You are Bhagawan. It is you. Unto him, you, who assumes transcendental bodies according to the desires of the devotees. It's all in reciprocation. He comes to reciprocate with his devotees. This is the Krishna who you are worshipping. His desire is to reciprocate with the devotees who love him, who want to serve him. And he assumes a mood in reciprocation with the devotees' mood. Yeyatamam prapadyante. I offer my obeisances to him whose form is itself pure consciousness. Unto him who's everything. There's nothing that Krishna is outside of Krishna. Who is the seed of everything, who is the soul of all creatures. I offer my obeisances to him. My dear Lord, this text 12. Now, Indra admits everything. When my sacrifice was disrupted, I became fiercely angry because of my false pride. Thus, I tried to destroy your cowherd community with severe rain and wind. He admits to everything. But listen to this, very interesting. This is a comment of the Acharyas on this. Krishna may reply to Indra's words. You say that you've, out of your anger and your pride, you tried to destroy all of Braja with severe rain and wind. But Indra, you are my devotee. This I understood from your previous recitation of prayers and praise. But I know what happened. Without your permission, your wicked clouds attacked my brother. Therefore, you should punish them. Fearing such an innocent scolding from Krishna, Indra considered, I cannot be duplicitous. I can't trick Krishna. He's the super soul. He knows everything. Therefore, he decided to admit that everything that occurred was his own fault. That's this verse. But when Krishna hears that, he may say, Indra, how is it possible for my devotee to do this? You tried to destroy all of Braja and the cows, the cowherd community, the gopis, the gopas, Nandamaraj. You are my devotee. How is it possible for you to have done this? Indra replies, please listen carefully to these lines. He admits the truth of what he has done. And he says in this verse, when my worship was stopped, I became angry. Though I, your master, was the one who stopped your worship, I cannot believe that you, my servant, would do such a thing. Indra says, what is not possible out of pride? What is not possible out of pride and the anger that comes to pride? So what is really to be feared in this world? It is pride. For a devotee, it is pride. And Krishna responds to Indra's admission. Though pride may somehow arise in my devotee will remove that pride with his intelligence, won't he? And Indra again responds, but intense anger destroys even intelligence. Pride followed by anger, and anything is possible for anyone. Indra continues, the great mercy you have shown me, who is such an offender, is special. I've personally just performed this act. Look what I did, and you're showing me mercy. You removed my pride. It is most despicable, the most disgraceful, that I tried to destroy Vraja. What could be worse an offense than that? And I did this out of pride and my intense anger. O Lord who knows everything, O Bhagawan, you know my wicked nature. What more can be said about my pride? O Lord, although you yourself, Bhagawan, full of powers, was personally present in your presence, I did this. I nevertheless attempted to destroy Braja. How serious is my offense? So what is he going to do next? After admitting all this to Krishna, what can you say after this? This is what he says. Toeshana Gurhitosmin, you have shown me mercy. Dvastastambo Vyotodhyama. You have, I tried, you have made fruitless all my attempts to destroy Braja. You've showed me mercy in this way. Ishwaram Gurum Atmanam, you are the Supreme Lord. You are my Guru, and you are my true self, the Super Soul, Super Self. Tamaham Saranam Gata. And therefore, I have come to you for shelter. What else can one do when one understands one's position, the faults in one's nature, the fact that one is capable of doing any old terrible thing? Here I am, Krishna. Do as you like. I'm yours. That's what Indra is saying. Though I have caused, and this is the end of this section, though I have caused a great disturbance to Braja, I have received mercy from you, like a sick person getting diagnosed by a doctor. Thus, I am now cured of my disease, for I have given up my urge to release my lightning bolts in anger. Because you control everything, you are my Lord. Because you create benefit for all, you are my Guru. Because you're the object of my love, you are my Atma, my very self. O Supreme Controller, O Isha, O Lord, you regulate and control all beings. And although you could have punished me rightfully, you have nevertheless simply been merciful to me. And this is not superficial, for your mercy has destroyed my pride. This is great mercy, the destruction of pride. It is painful medicine, but it is the greatest mercy. My pride has completely disappeared. You have destroyed it. And along with my pride, you have destroyed my desire for such acts which were born of my pride and born of my anger. Thus, this great offender surrenders to you, my Guru. Now that was a lot of philosophy to throw at you in the afternoon. I'm sorry for doing it, but what to do? Those of you who survived and stayed awake, I congratulate you. Those who took little naps in between, I hope it was restful, and I hope the parts that you caught, if there were any, were also interesting and instructive. I'm afraid to look at the clock. What? That was too much, wasn't it? I thought so. I thought it was so interesting. But somehow I imagined it would take only a short time. I think I read too much. What do you remember more than anything else? Raise your hand if you remember anything more than anything else. Yes, Pooh.
Pride and anger are like deadly combination.
And when there's pride, there must be anger following it. The material, and what's pride based on? Illusion. Remember, we're tiny, insignificant souls. Thank you. Anyone else remember anything else? Yes.
Suffering is Krishna's mercy.
But when one's going through it, if devotees come to you and say, Krishna's mercy, Prabhu, it doesn't work very well. Sometimes only after time has passed, we understood within that event was some mercy of Krishna. And then we examine how we dealt with it, the difficult circumstance. Did I hold on to Krishna? Or did I become angry at Krishna? How did I deal with it? Thank you. Any other? Yes, Pooh.
Humility is taking shelter of Krishna.
I'm tiny and insignificant. You are great. You're my Lord. Let me serve you. Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah.
I really liked the point when you shared that Prabhupada said that when somebody came to Prabhupada and said, please allow me to be your devotee, but then Prabhupada corrected that, please allow me to be your servant.
But he first also said it's a very nice poem. Yes.
Well, the king of Raja is actually the love of devotees.
Say again, Prabhu.
The king of Raja is actually the love of devotees.
The ruler of Braja, yeah. Prema Bhakti rules Vrindavan. The love of the devotees rules Vrindavan. It's Krishna's internal energy, actually, Ladini Shakti. Thank you. Anyone else remember something that struck them? Yes, Prabhu.
The whole Leela is happening not to punish Indra, but rather to bring everyone closer from. It's not meant to punish Indra. It's to bring all the Vrajavasi together.
Yes, and also to correct Indra, to remove his pride. That was Krishna's kindness. Because pride always will bring some bad effect later. So we should fear pride. What should one do if one feels one is proud?
Take guidance from a senior devotee.
And they'll say, remove your pride. Then what do?
They will tell where it's going wrong.
Say?
They will guide us what should we do in that scenario.
Should serve. Because pride makes us want to feel like we should be served. But serving others is so much more pleasurable, actually. Do you like to serve prasadam? Do you?
He's always serving prasad.
Huh?
On festival days, even today lunch, he was serving.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Krishna's form in our minds, we will be unaffected by God's material nature, and God's mind empowered us.
If we can just keep Krishna's form within our mind, the modes of material nature will not touch us. Thank you. Yes.
I have one question. Can I ask?
Soon, I hope. What time, how much time do we have? Because I wanted to show you a little video. Not a little video, but sort of a review video of this. What time are we supposed to end? 6:30 or something like that? Already 6? Is that true? Really? Yeah. Where's Jagattarini? What time do you begin? Hare Krishna. How much break do you need? And that's a ridiculous question to ask. Okay, why don't we show that video? And then you can have a 30-second break. No, a 5-10 minute break, and then Mataji can begin. Is that all right, Mataji? Yes, yes. No, not that video. The MP4. King Indra became repentant after seeing Krishna lift Govardhan Hill to protect Braja from his attacks of fierce storms of rain, lightning, and hail. Thus, Indra had gone to Mount Meru to find a means of alleviating his offense. There, he learned from Brahma about Krishna's powers. Do you have VCL? What is
Immediately
it? VLC?
his false pride.
Because it's not. There's the thunder. See if it works better. If not, we'll have our break now. King Indra became repentant after seeing Krishna lift Govardhan Hill to protect Braja from his attacks of fierce storms of rain, lightning, and hail. Thus, Indra had gone to Mount Meru to find a means of alleviating his offense. There, he learned from Brahma about Krishna's powers and immediately lost his false pride in thinking of himself as master and ruler of the three worlds. Both Brahma and Indra had then journeyed to see Surabhi, the celestial cow, and following that, Indra, with Surabhi, but without Brahma, arrived
In Braja, Indra brought Surabhi with him as an attempt to soften Krishna's heart, for he knew of Krishna's affection for cows. When Surabhi saw Krishna, she thought of him as he who attracts me because of his affection for my offspring, the cows. In her approaching Krishna, she had two questions in her mind.
It's the wrong one.
First,
Okay. Nine minutes worth of questions, and then we stop, then have a 15-minute break. Okay, any questions? Raise your hand. Yes, Prabhu.
My sincere apologies if you have already answered and I missed the answer. So what we see in the life of Indra Maharaj, that yes, he commits an offense, he asks for forgiveness, and Krishna forgives. And then again, he commits an offense, as we have discussed. So if I was just contemplating, if I put the same concept on myself, so many times it happens, Maharaj, I'm committing a mistake. And then I feel bad about it, and I go and ask for forgiveness. And then again, after a couple of days, same thing happens, couple of days, same thing. So where is the solution, Maharaj? We understand it was pride and Krishna, but what is the solution of this
cycle? We continue and never give up and try our best. And then somehow hope that Krishna one day, in some way or another, will be merciful to us. That's half. The other half is each time we become humble, more and more humble. And then when someone says, oh, you're so wonderful, you don't believe them at all, because you know better than them. That's my answer to that question. You directed it basically at being humble at yourself, as opposed to how did Indra keep doing it, and etc. Am I correct? You said, took it as how do we deal with our lack of, with our inability to improve. And that was my answer, that we never give up. Keep trying again and again and again, and hope for Krishna's mercy, and serve others who are better than us. Then the next question is, what happens if I can't find anyone better than me? Is it clean your glasses? Because the two contradict each other. I'm so fallen. I can't improve, but I can't find anyone better than me. Is that okay? So in that tension between I want to be a devotee, I want to be a good servant, I want to be in Braja, I want to be able to serve nicely, and I'm humble. I feel incapable. In that humility and that desire, we want to increase our humility and increase our desire, both. And in that's where bhakti is born, in that paradoxical situation. You look like you wanted to ask something further.
Where is the hope, Maharaj? Like seeing Indra, he's such an elevated devotee. When he is into this cycle, so where is the hope for me personally?
Well, what happened to Indra that caused him so much problems?
Pride, Maharaj.
Pride, because he had such a big position, so much power, everyone was worshipping him, lots of dancing girls and everything. So keep away from dancing girls is the first thing. I mean, when devotees girls are dancing in the temple, that's another thing, but just beware of power, position. Always, that means when you have those, you have to be very, very humble and know that you're only a servant. Just keep that consciousness, I'm only a servant. Servant of Guru, servant of Vaishnava, servant of Prabhupada, servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nityananda. Just be always a servant. As soon as we move from the consciousness that I'm a servant, we get ourselves in trouble instantaneously. immediately we're in Maya. So the hope is, actually I read a quotation from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur saying, service to the Vaishnavas is not the means to an end, it is the goal itself. So we don't serve the devotees so that we become advanced in Krishna consciousness even. This is the goal. Gopi Bhatta Parakamalyo Dasa Mahaprabhu himself said that. Sounds so simple, romantically wonderful, but false ego and wanting to be acknowledged as a great devotee and such a humble servant of the devotees and everything. Maya will find a trick like water finds a way through. Maya is very clever in that way, but if we keep our consciousness sealed by keeping the name of Krishna in our mind, the form of Krishna in our mind, the service of Krishna in our mind, and then hope for mercy. It's that mercy that ultimately will save us. And Krishna sees the sincerity of the attempt. He's not there with a checklist, He's got your name on the database. You just did this. I'm watching you. I know you did this. That's 4 times in a row. 5, 7. But who's counting? 8, 9, 10. He's Baba Grahi Janardana. See, when we hear about Krishna, we trust his munificent, generous, benevolent nature. And of course, we shouldn't take advantage of his generosity. We should sincerely try to humbly serve. What do you think? And it is said in 7th chapter of Adi Lila, perhaps, the first verse. Anyone have their mobile phone out? Oh, you don't have to get it if you don't have it out already. There's enough devotees who have it out. What's the first, in Adi Lila, first verse in 7, see if it's 7 or 8. You have it? Anyone have it? Read it. What's the first verse? Let's see if it's...
Let me first offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the ultimate goal of life. For one bereft of all possession in this material world, and is the only meaning for one advancing in spiritual life. Thus, let me write about his magnanimous contribution of devotional service.
How about 8:1?
I offer my respects to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose desire I have become like a dancing dog and suddenly taken to the writing of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, although I am a fool.
No, that's not the one. But anyway, the verse I was looking for, maybe someone knows it, where it says that Mahaprabhu's mercy naturally flows to those who feel themselves the most fallen. It naturally flows because the need is there. Humility attracts the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Any other questions? Yes.
Thank you, Maharaji. So here I'm trying to understand 2 different personalities. One is Indra and one is Kamsa.
Would you like to know what it's like to be Kamsa?
No. So one is a devotee and other is a demon. Both are acting in anger and pride. One is trying to kill Krishna and one is trying to kill Krishna and his beloveds. So how can we understand their positions and why Krishna? Because Krishna should have punished Indra as well. But, can you explain that?
Indra was a devotee, but he had gone, due to his service, one could say, he became proud, his power and positions. But he was a devotee at heart. That's what Krishna had said or will say. He's a devotee, but he had allowed something to take over his heart which wasn't devotional. But Kamsa was a demon through and through. He knew that Krishna was destined to kill him. He knew that when he heard the sound of the breaking of the bow in the Dhanajagya, when Krishna broke that, the prediction was, he who breaks this bow will be the one who kills you. He knew this, but he would not surrender. Indra surrendering, he realized his mistake. Kamsa never realized it. To the very end, after Krishna Balaram killed the wrestlers, kill them. He wouldn't anything but surrender. Anything but surrender. He was demon through and through. So what do you think?
Indra has a realization, but he still made a mistake, like trying to kill all the Brajvasis. So
let me ask you a question.
Understand that part.
Would you have preferred Krishna to be continuously merciful to Indra despite his many mistakes? Or would you have preferred him to cut Indra off? You've made too many mistakes. What would you prefer? Him to have treated Indra? Or another way to look at it is, how would you prefer Krishna treats you?
Being merciful.
Very good answer. I also am in the same. What do you think? Would you prefer Krishna being merciful to his devotees, even if they're not perfect, and letting them try again and again? Prabhupada once, there was a devotee who joined in the Juhu temple in the early days, and he was nonsensical, not serious. He was going to the beach every day and just doing this and that. He was smoking, and Prabhupada wanted him to stay in the ashram, and finally the devotees convinced Prabhupada he should leave the ashram, the brahmachari ashram. So Prabhupada said, tell him my mercy has run out. So later, Tamal Krishnamurti tells the story. Tamal Krishnamurti asked Prabhupada, has your mercy really run out for him? And Prabhupada said, no. Is that someone who you'd like to surrender to? Any other questions you have? Yes. What's your name? Say again? Rama. Here, Rama Prabhu.
Ramai.
Ramai, Hare Krishna. Oh, Ramai, our old friend Ramai. How old are you nowadays?
10, Maharaj.
How old are you?
10.
10. What age, if you could be any age you want, what age would you like to be?
Maybe like 15.
15. Is anyone here 15? Any 15-year-olds? Yes, you're not 15. Not 50, 15. Oh yes, you had a question on my pool. What could you do when you're 15 that you can't do now?
I could I would have learned more education more and I'd know more.
You'd know more when you were 15 than you know now, so you would like to know more.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you like to know everything?
No.
No. Just more. Yeah. What would you like to know more about? Just curiously.
Krishna consciousness.
You're very fortunate. And thoughtful too. Everyone should pray that their mind learns more and more about Krishna consciousness. Okay? Not clap, pray. I have to pray, I'm serious. I should pray. Who should we pray to?
Krishna.
Okay. Radha Ballava or any other form of Krishna? Who would you like us to pray to?
Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. You had a question too?
Yes.
Yes, please.
When Indra saw Krishna's supernatural power, when he lifted Govardhan Hill, why didn't Indra cease the rains immediately? Why after 7 days? Then he stopped the rains.
Yeah. Well, there can be two answers that I know. The Bhagavatam doesn't specifically answer that, but it says when Krishna saw that his pouring rain was ineffective, then he stopped it immediately. So he didn't know until then, until the 7 days. Perhaps it may explain this in one other book called Gopal Champu by Srila Jiva Goswami, that he sent spies, but no one wanted to tell him that his rain was being effective, it wasn't working. But then he went and saw it. Let me see if I can find the verse. It said, seeing, so it seems like when he saw that the fierce winds and rains, wrong verse. When Indra observed this exhibition, when he saw the exhibition of Lord Krishna's mystic power, he became astonished, because he was just kept on throwing his weapons, the clouds and the rain, until he finally understood that it wasn't effective at all. So when he observed this exhibition of Lord Krishna's mystic power, he became most astonished. And then he felt pulled down from his platform of false pride. And his intentions failed, and he ordered his clouds to desist. So it seems like he didn't really realize it, that he had used all his power, and it was useless compared to Krishna's power. And as soon as he did understand it, it seems, then he immediately told the clouds and rain to stop.
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
When's your birthday?
March 15th.
Okay. So you were just 10?
Yes.
Did you have a birthday party?
I had a birthday party at my Krishna Kishore boys.
You what, boys?
Krishna Kishore.
Krishna Kishore.
Yeah.
That's a group of boys?
Yeah, it's a group of devotee boys.
How many are in the group?
If I had an estimate, maybe um, 30 or higher.
Wow. So all of them came and
Well, because it like goes to like boys like maybe like 17.
yeah.
So I think.
And did they come to your house?
No.
Where did you go?
A community center.
Okay. And you had, did they all get fed nicely?
Yes.
What did they have?
I believe. I can't really remember.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, that was very interesting, though. But I'm going to get into trouble if we don't have a break now. And then, okay, 1, 2, 3, break until 7 o'clock, and then Mataji. Okay. Hare Krishna.